All right, welcome guys to another Chart Prime episode. Today, Monday, it is dedicated for you guys, especially the new members that are looking to get started quickly. So if you have any questions, please let me know. We're going to be pointing you out at the correct video tutorial or explaining you shortly what is it about and how to achieve it. And tomorrow, it is Q&A based on the videos that we send you. So any and all of your questions could be actually answered in depth. So digital, let's actually get started. You can share your love of linear regression. Absolutely. Let's go check that out. So this is a free indicator, guys, that we also offer in Chart Prime. It is one of my favorite indicators in here. And let me add it from the beginning so you guys see how that works, right? I use it in tandem or in synchrony with my Prime Oscillator Pro or my Prime Oscillator Plus, all right? So I also see, hey, time crazy. Hey, I trade BTCC. How do I Chart Prime on their charts? Impossible. No, you just need to use TradingView for that and then trade in there. Maybe. I'm not sure. I think like if you go, wait, just get rid of this. I think if you click in here and then you go to trading panel, here is where you can pair, for example, Binance, and not trade inside Binance, but trade in TradingView and auto execute it on Binance. I don't do it. I've never done it. I'm so sorry, but I don't think that's something that I can help you with. I really don't like to do that. I like to actually go to the broker and trade there. It avoids a lot of pain, believe me. But it seems like we don't have BTCC. So long story short, it cannot be done so far. Let's see. Let's actually go over the very first question, which is how do I add my linear regression oscillator? So for that, let me change my setup in here and let's go to, I don't know. I have one that is called video. There you go, video. This is my dummy thing, but I kind of like go over a couple of stuff. All right, so really quickly, this one right here, squeeze momentum indicator by Lazy Beard. This is the indicator that I grew up with, all right? Quote unquote, grew up with. This was my very first indicator that I added and I use it, all right? So it has a special place in my heart. And then Chart Prime developed the linear regression oscillator, which is not only way better, but it adds a lot of features that this one doesn't have. That's why it is currently one of my favorite indicators. So linear regression oscillator here. What is it? Linear regression oscillator by Chart Prime. So you just click it. By the way, you should not be having, that's on favorite, but if you cannot find it, you just do linear regression. Oh, come on. And then oscillator. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. And this is the one by Chart Prime. So far, 12.1K. All right, just click it once and then it's going to be appearing all the way down there. All right. So let me just remove one of those and let's minimize this or even maximize it, right? So as you can see, they look alike, but here's not only here, but this is one of the areas that it gets better. Like instead of confusing you to getting, hey, bearish, bullish, no, it's telling you, hey, we're still bearish, right? So it's a little bit more, less sensitive on going back and forth, more truth to what's happening, if that makes sense, all right? So this is something that I like. Another thing that I like it is that instead of just looking at the color, like for example, this one changes color when it measures a squeeze on the momentum. This has a little bit of a different calculation to it. This one, it gives you peak performance in the bearish section, right? And also peak performance. What does peak performance is? It's what, hey, we have reached the possible performance that it could go. Sometimes we get just a little bit of a momentum push, but that's basically it. And that's where, let's just see it as a fuel, right? When the fuel is just running out and then we're going the other direction. You can see it as a reversal, not to be confused with reversal diamonds, all right? These reversal diamonds well, are not the typical diamonds that you look for. Hey, reversal at the top, reversal at the bottom. No, this is your trend reversal. All right. Why do I like trend reversals? Because I can adjust based on the actual trade that I want to take. All right. So let's just say that peak performance are newbie friendly. Reversal diamonds are not what a newbie would expect, but a newbie will really benefit of using them. So for example, right here, we're going from, there we go. Let me show you right here. And this is a perfect example. Right here, look at that. We not only have a reversal diamond, we also have a triangle to go with that diamond, telling you that we have lost the bullish trend. Green is bullish, red is bearish, right? So right here, we're telling, hey, yes, we have a retracement that could be going upwards, but right now, on this and this, the possibilities for this to keep being bullish, it's over. It's over. So look for breakout retest continuation downwards. Right? So when you see those diamonds, you start changing your bias, if that makes sense. All right. So reversal diamonds are talking about the trend because this is bullish, but when does it stop being bullish? It's not in here. But look at that. You also have a reversion on your peak performance diamond. You see that? So I like to hide all of these things, just so you know. I mean, things on the chart, I like to hide them because I can read them out of the oscillator. Something that is also important, it is this invalidation level. So, for example, we have a crossing over, but if we break the invalidation level, well, that was a fake out. Remember, fake outs are something unavoidable. There's some, I mean, that's why it's called a fake out, because have all of the structure, all of the data, and then suddenly somebody, some institution, some guy, something happens that influx money that was not there before. So inputs data that was not there before and changes the perspective once again. That tends to be called market manipulation. All right. It's not always like that, but that is typically what it happens or how it used. All right. So be my guest to keep those on or off. I like them to be off because everything that I see here, it's based on my theory, right? Not my personal theory, the gathering of the theory out there that I mashed together for me to use. What is that? It's a very simple setup. For example, it always goes with support resistances and trend lines. That's it, right? So I have a trend line. Let me just clear this up. All right. And I have a low, 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 something like this, right? So in this case, based on the trend line, I would be losing the trend all the way here. But look at how early this was, all right? So when I have that area right there, what I do is I just readjust my trend line and then start looking for the opposite zone, right? Another important thing, it's adding your support and resistances. That comes into your indicators, all right? And then something important, especially for newbies or starting with the indicators. If you favorite an indicator and it's a paid indicator, any, don't favorite your paid indicators at all. Why? This is on TradingView. There's nothing that we can do about it. But when you favorite, they grab that version and they store that version on your favorites. That is important because if there's a bug, you are storing the bug. All right. If there's an update, you're not going to be able to use the update. All right. How do you add them then? Well, you go to invite only, and inside an invite only, that's when you add those favorites. Yes, for example, if I have a favorite one, perfect. Add it to your favorites just so you have a star right here. All right, just because of that. But you always add them from your invite only. Here's what I'm going to go and look for example, market, Oracle Pro or Plus. I'm going to be adding the Plus. In my market's Dynamic Pro. All right, that's it. Those are the bare bones. Let me show you how do I configure them really quickly. First, talking about your linear regression oscillator, there's one more thing that we need to go over, right? Which is another free indicator that I like to add on top of this, right? The same way, or the same indicator that I used to add on top of this, which is a strength indicator. You go into into indicators and you do ADX. This is another free indicator. You go for directional movement index, right? Close it. And here's your directional movement index. I'm going to edit this, set settings, and then I'm going to go to style, and I'm going to turn off plus DI, negative DI. And then key level, I'm just going to push it thicker and brighter. And my ADX, white, again, brighter, and a little bit thicker. That's it. And then this is the special trick. I grab it, and then I throw it on top of it. And then, just because I like it, and let's just practice again, the ADX, I change it to purple, right? Or this purple right here. And that's it. That is my configuration of my indicator. Basically, really quickly, how to use this. If the ADX is pointing upwards, that means strength. On what? On whatever trend you are. So the first thing that you need to read is, hey, am I blue? That means bearish. So pointing up on blue, strength on the bearishness. And then pointing up on green, strength on the bullishness. All right. So look at that. Pointing up on blue, strength on your bearish. Pointing up on green, strength on your bullish. All right. So that is to resolve on how to add and use my linear regression oscillator setup. And I do see other couple of questions. Let me go over those. How to
You're a professional, bro.
Thank you, my friend. Really appreciate it. How's it going, by the way?
Really good, bro. I'm long on Solana.
Let's go. Let's go. Let me finish the questions and then I'll pass it over to you. And we'll go from there. All right. So I was I was afraid of that. I use brokers charts that correctly, fairly closely, and then makes trades according to that. Thanks for answering my crazy question. Not crazy question, my friend. Anytime. How to use price action, and please suggest settings. All right, Ari, that is a very general question. I'm gonna try to make, if you can actually tell me what about price action, we can talk about easily like 5 hours about price action and talk about a ton of theories about price action, right? But here is the bare bones that I would actually suggest. If you're talking about that, it's basically asking, like, not offense, please, don't get this the wrong way, right? How do I use shoes for, right? And what are the best shoes? Hey, that is a great question, but there is an infinite amount of shoes, and there is an infinite amount of cases for those shoes. Maybe, are you going trailing? Are you going jogging? Are you running? Are you a professional track, right, athlete? So that will depend on what kind of shoes you're going to wear, right? The same thing goes here with your question of, hey, how do I use price action? Let me first show you the bare bones of that, all right? For that, let me just close everything and clear this up, all right? Perfect. Now that we have turned everything off, your price action are your candles. The first thing that you need to understand, it is that your time frame, all right? Time frame, for me, it is 4 hours. That's where I'm the most profitable at. Where are you the most profitable at? I'm so sorry, but you need to figure that out. How do you figure that out? Making fake trades. What are those fake trades? All right, saying, hey, based on price action, which is your original question, right? How can I trade, or where would I be making the trades? So, first of all, let's go back. I know that we're going back and forth, but let's go back to the price action. Price action, we're just going to be using two things: support and resistances and trend lines. That's it. Everything else will be on top of. If you dominate support and resistance in trend lines, my friend, you are freaking golden. Do not add stuff over stuff over stuff if you are not managing this. And by the way, if you are even slightly good at support and resistance and slightly good at trend lines, dude, you're going to start making money right away. Right? So here's the thing. You zoom out as much as you can. Look at that. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Can I see candles? No. Perfect. That means that you're not making a newbie mistake. You don't need to see the chunky candles like that and say, hey, yeah, this is a red candle, so we're going down. No, there's no way that you can say that. You can read direction just based on the structure. And there you have two kind of structures, base structures. Inner structure and outer structure. Let's talk about the most important, outer structure. So once again, you zoom out. You zoom out as much as you can. You don't need to see individual candles, man. All right. And right here, this is where you do your first lesson: support and resistance and trend lines. That's it. All right. So trend lines, it's not like this. Let me show you. It's not like this. That is your inner structure, all right? We're going to talk about it in a second. But your trend lines, they need to be big, like huge, buddy, right? Like, for example, this one here, right? Look at those highs. Perfect, right? And then look at these lows. Perfect. Those are good trend lines, right? Like Alex here would tell you, hey, nothing beats a good trend line, right? Amen.
That's it.
Amen. Let's go. All right. So support and resistance. Now, you want to make your life easy for support and resistance? Great. I got you covered. You add your Market Dynamics Pro. All right. Perfect. Let's turn it on. Then go to settings, inputs, the word this class is being recorded. And then you can look this up into the docs. Chartbrand.docs.com. All right. And then you go right here and you look for multi-time frame, support, and resistances. All right, so what time frame are you in? Whatever, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And I know your next question is going to be, hey, does that work in the 1 minute? Yes. A trend is a trend in the 1 minute? Yes, but your trend is going to be different. But yeah, the theory works in the same things. All right, so right here you go and you turn on your support and resistances. Chart means whatever time frame you're in. So if I go to the 15 minutes, it's going to auto adjust to the 15 minutes. Method, this is just basically how big of a range you're going to be looking for. For example, right here, look at that. It's local. So it takes the last price action and tells you, hey, what is the most important support and resistances based on the price action that you're seeing right here, right? I like to, one of two things. To change it to midterm, because this is going to make it bigger. Look at this. Wait for this little eye to stop moving. And look at that. It's measuring a bigger range, right? Or even extended node. Let's go and wait for that little eye to stop moving. And you'll see it in a second. There we go. As you can see, you have much spread out support and resistances, all right? A little trick. You'll see right here, and let me just go over settings, that you have, let me push this to my right, a dashed one. That is your most important support and resistance based on your configuration, right? The strongest support and resistance based on chart and extended, all right? And macro just makes this one's more spread out. So it goes back in time farther, therefore covering more important areas, all right? Something that I like to do is to turn it on to midterm mode and do proximity, all right? This is a little bit of something that you need to be careful about. Why? Because if I turn on first ranking data, just so you see the difference here, all right? You'll see, let's just wait for that thing to update. It takes forever, but that's on TradingView. All right, there it is, right? And it's on top of this. You'll see a set of numbers. Those numbers goes from 1, which is this dashed line. 1 is your dashed line, which is the most important, all the way to 5, which is the least important, based on how strong they are. So they are not in order. The order that they follow are the strength order, all right? So number 1 is this one. Number 2 is this one. Number 3 is this one, so on and so forth. What if I want 10 of those? Perfect. You just go here, scroll down, same configuration, remember multi-time frame, and instead of 5, you go and do 10 of them. Again, let's just wait for this to
Hey,
load.
brother.
Yep. Oh. And then there you go. You have up to 10 support and resistances. I don't like this because it tends to get in the way. All right. The next thing it is, just so you can see, all right, what time frame you're in. 240 minutes equals 4 hours. And right here, you see the exact price action. Remember, the exact price action is just a reference, right? Because as you can see, the support and resistance, they are slightly broken, all right? So they get broken slightly. That's what I mean. All right. The next thing, which is the one that I really like, it is turning off ranking data. So it doesn't bother me. I already know this, all right? And then do proximity. What would proximity do? And for that, let's do, again, 5, all right? Let's click OK. And in the meantime, this loads. Let me explain you what proximity does. Instead, the regular support and resistance, they'll tell you, all right, depending on your method, in this case midterm, I'm going to go back in time X amount of candles. In this case, you can see where they start and where they end. And then I'm going to plot the most important support and resistances, all right? You want more? Perfect, you can add more. But proximity does it differently. It tells you, hey, what is your price area right now? Where are you right now located? Right there, right there. So from proximity, all right, from this area, I'm going to plot to the top the next support, to the bottom the next resistance. I mean, the other way around, sorry. And then give you up to the number that you set. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So that way I ensure that I'm having the most immediate support and resistance, all right? Perfect. That's it. Let's leave support and resistance still there. We have a much complex videos to talk about that, all right? Thank you, my friend. Really appreciate it. It's true that a quantum reactor is based on linear regression. No, it's based on volume, but it does have a linear regression smoothing up to it. But it's not based on linear regression. That is because the linear regression, it is a common smoothing factor that takes your very jaggly stuff and then make it smooth out. So yeah. All right, so let's go and finish this up. All right, so settings. Now, if you're talking about settings, like, wait, before we move on. All right, now you have your automatic support and resistance. So let me just get rid of these ones, which are triangles. So patterns. Triangles. Let me turn it off. All right, perfect. Let's wait for this load. And then you're basically golden. Remember, you zoom out as much as you can, and then you go for your trend lines, all right? It doesn't matter if they're back in the past. You just want to go first your uptrend trend lines, and then you want to go for your downtrend trend lines, all right? And that's basically it. And I don't know what this... There we go. So based on these major trend lines, now you add, and this is very important, your inner structure, all right? Why? Your bigger trend lines with support and resistances, look at those are the areas where you have both the trend line and support and resistance, both the trend line, support and resistance, both the trend line and support and resistance, that are your entry points, period. That's it, right? Reggie in the house, how's it going, Reggie? And then, if you want to add a little bit more to it, you do your inner structure, which is your trading. Minimal trend lines, minimum trend lines, minimum trend lines. How do you read those? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. When you lose your trend line, you change your trade. So short from here to TP1, TP2. You have a reversal. Remember, you drew your other trend line in here, right? You break the trend line, break a retest, first entry, TP1, TP2, TP3, right? You break your trend line, breakout retest, your entry, TP1, TP2, TP3, and then you just wait for the reversal. Break your trend line, breakout retest, TP1, TP1, TP2, and TP3. That's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, all right? Want something more easy? Well then, this is where you need to configure your Market Oracle Pro. This one for me, it's way better. But your trendy is the tricky part. Trendy, it talks about trends. So despite it looks like it,
But tell me your settings, bro. I need your settings, man.
all right, 43. 43, there it is. You got them. Let's go.
Tell me your settings, bro.
Guys, this is something
I don't want to
important.
try. I just want yours.
Perfect.
I just want your settings.
That's a very important comment because everybody's settings is different. Why? Because are you looking for scalps? Do a lower setting. Are you looking for swing trades? Do a higher setting. All right. Something important. This is meant to show you trends. All right. The bigger the number, the more separated those are. Right. So just bear in mind, right, that it needs to make sense to you, and you don't buy the signals. They're confluence. All right. So how do you do it? Well, then you get your trend line. You lose the trend. You lose your trend. And for this, right now, you are allowed to go and see chunky candles in here. You lose your trend. You have your confirmation, breakout, retest. You short based on what? On your trend line. That's it. So that's all that I got to try to answer price action. And we still can go like way much more. All right. But that is a really quick introduction. Let me pass it over to you, Alex. And well, are you all right? Let me know. I can maybe take it.
Yeah, we're good.
Perfect. And how was your day? And by the way, for the new members, this is the Scalper God right here.
I don't know about that.
I don't know
Scalper
about
God.
that, dude. But look at your wallet,
I click
man.
buy and sell, okay? I click buy and sell. Yeah, it's been a very, very nice let's just say a nice couple of months. Yeah, like 4 months. I've been compounding a $14,000 account, and it is currently at 96
In how long?
in 4 months.
How long? In 4 months. Guys,
4 months.
Are you paying attention? Telling you.
And I show everything, man. Like, I mean, like, yeah. Anyways, 7-day P&L. Like, this is kind of how it's been working, right? So we just, I show you mine, you show me yours, eh?
Yeah.
Anyways, so what is the deal? 1 win, 1 loss today, guys. Very simple. Looking for Solana to bottom out there this morning. Confluence here. I've closed this trade now. So I got in early on this candle here, and I actually had to go to the toilet, so I closed the trade. So it literally dumped on me while I was dumping. Jokes intended. But so it right away. And that's sometimes it happens, man. I closed the trade in order to protect my downside. Okay, so it was a good trade. If I'm looking here, this was the Solana trade here. So for me, I got long here. And then all of a sudden, that morning coffee, my stop loss was below these lows, but that morning coffee was, it said good morning, So for me, the trade setup was like this. I closed the trade setup, okay? I closed the trade setup and I re-entered. So this is the trade setup here. I can show you guys. So my last two trades. So I closed it and I went to the potty, as my little boy says, and then I retook the trade and now I'm up 940. So it's okay. I take a $600 loss. Okay, you need to be a good loser in this. I'm not going to sit there and sit on the toilet and watch my account go to zero. I just take the loss and I re-enter the trade. Okay, it's you wanna have a nice relaxing time when you go to the toilet. Anyway, so I was looking for this. So I was looking for the retest continuation trade out with a little bit of a possibility to add to the trade in case we SFP'd. So I was looking for a breakout retest continuation trade and then a reclaim here. So I got long. I re-entered the long back in here, and then off we went, okay, for a quick scalp in here. So what are we doing today? Very, very obvious. We're just chopping the bit. Now, a couple of warning signs that I want to tell you guys about is that you must be aware of what's going on in the S&P and the NASDAQ right now. So the S&P has gapped up twice in a row, okay? Big gaps here, big gap energy, and this is hopium, right? All-time highs. But when price moves like this on the S&P, you typically get recovered, okay? Eventually. So whenever you get big gaps to the upside, okay, you typically come back and recover. Big gaps to the upside, you typically come back and recover. And that creates constructive price action to higher highs and higher lows, okay? When you leave gaps behind, especially big ones like this, you tend to come back and recover them eventually. So this is bullish, but be aware that we are getting overextended on the SPY and on the NASDAQ. Okay, the NASDAQ is the exact same thing here where you've gapped up and you've created a massive gap to the upside. So you're typically looking to come back and recover that. Okay, it doesn't mean it's like 100%. It just means you should understand that in order to be trading right now. So we are very overextended to the upside. Let me reload this so my object tree does work. Okay, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. Where are we at? I think that's something that we should always answer on Mondays because it's so important. If we look at Monday here on Bitcoin, and what we understand very simply is that we have come up into massive resistance. So we have swept this high, which is a very good move at 116. That was our target for longs all the way down here. We are targeting all those longs coming into the weekend, and we had a very, very nice weekend. Also, I told you guys to buy virtual under $1, so you have no excuse not to be rich anymore. That's all I'm saying, is that I've been screaming at you guys saying I'm buying virtual, I'm buying Hyperliquid, I'm buying Render, and I was buying, what was the other one? Aerodrome. Under $1 for Aerodrome, under $1 for virtual. If you had bought under $1 where we were accumulating on virtual, you would doubled your money, okay? Just saying, okay? And I just took profits on that. I took 15K profits yesterday, okay? At 161 was my key level. And I can show you, you want to see the receipt, I guess. I'm known for showing receipts, so I will show you receipts because I hate people who lie in this industry and who don't actually show you guys receipts, okay? Because it's very important to not only practice what you preach, but when you are saying certain things, to actually show that you did it, right? And I can show you guys that I took profits yesterday at 161 at $15,000 yesterday on virtuals, okay? And here's your virtual trade. Here's last night. Here's your sell. Here's your $15,000 at 161, okay? Just so you guys all understand what we're doing here, okay? So if this and that, and that's spot, guys. That's spot. So, I mean, this is how we do it, right? This is how we do it. So for now, what are we looking at on Bitcoin and how do we prepare for this? Okay, so we are coming into massive resistance right now. What we must understand is that this is the sticky zone, okay? If there's a sticky zone, it's right here and we haven't even hit it yet, okay? And it's right here from 117.3 all the way up to the value area high at 119.45 or 450, okay? This is sticky. You can see the big area that we need to get above. We can also see that we did SFP this high here. We are very overextended to the upside, so this typically leads to us wanting to be cautious because this looks for liquidity sweeps, okay? We could have one more push, but understand that there is massive resistance in this area, okay? And if we're treating this like a range, what do we have right now? If we pull this volume over here and we go across here, what do we have? We have a deviation above the range. So this is your range high, right? So if you're one of those smart money concept traders, you would say accumulation, distribution, manipulation, distribution. This would be your manipulation up here, right? Then you would distribute back down into the range, okay? If you're a smart money concept dude. So you accumulate, you manipulate, and you distribute. Okay, so you all understand that? And this is a beautiful SFP. Like this was clearly our target to come and get the liquidity up at these highs, and we slapped that perfectly. So we are very overextended over here, so I wouldn't be surprised if this happened. So be prepared because we take the stairs up and the elevator down. So be prepared for this. This is looking good, but also understand we are very overextended. At minimum, we're looking to come back and retest the point of control here and get acceptance below and then bounce, okay? So be prepared of that. We are trying to break out retest, and we did have an absolute perfect OC breakout retest continuation trade that I took for $1,700 yesterday. I don't trade on the weekends, bro, but this was so juicy, bro. Like what do we say about trend lines? What do we say? Nothing's better than a good trend line, right? So you go here, you go to the high, you go to this high, and you get long here yesterday. My goodness gracious. Oh my God, we printed on a Sunday, OC, and I took Solana, and I took Bitcoin on a Sunday for like $1,700-$1,800 or something crazy like that. Very, very happy days. But that's as simple as it gets. It's also like a little order block retest in here, okay? But that's as simple as it gets, right? We're looking for breakout, retest, continuation trades, and off to the races we go. Does this look bullish to you? Yes or no? I would say no, okay? BTC looks sketchy to me. I agree. Very sketchy indeed right now, okay? So typically we're looking for liquidity to be swept. We've been up only since we broke out of this on Saturday, okay? Okay, so this looks to be recovered in here. If we are to return back, that would be it. So be aware of that. There is some good things in the works right now, I guess you could say. Donald Trump China agreement, okay? Big catalyst. I want to see confirmation on that agreement. Okay, we also have FOMC this week with rate cuts and quantitative easing starting up, meaning they're not tightening anymore, which means money printing. And all ships rise, right? More money into assets, meaning price go up, okay? Bitcoin has some work to do. We know we are major resistance above us. We're trying to break out. Everybody getting bullish up at the top. We should be aware up here that we should be looking for a potential retracement and then continuation, okay? This is the Sunday pump, which is always to be concerned about because it typically leads to Bart Simpson patterns, okay? Typically. So I would be very, very careful longing the top, okay? Just my opinion. If we're looking at chart prime indicators, what is important to note is if we look at our market structure here on chart prime, okay, and we can see here higher highs, higher lows, but if we go into a 4-hour time frame, we are starting to close above this high, which is a very good sign. It's the first time we switched bullishly on this change of character on the 4-hour time frame. So this is the hopium, right? This is the hopium. However, if we are looking at, even though this is a big, huge liquidity event, this is still corrective. So we would still look for this to be ABC back down into here. So be aware of that. If we get into up-only price action and we start to rip, it's much easier to jump on trend once that's confirmed. How do we confirm that? Well, we would need to clearly close above this high and look for the retest back in. That's where you would look to get long in this situation. Otherwise, you're looking for the trap down below, which would be a couple of these areas that I'm looking at so that you guys know what I'm looking at down below in here. So I'm looking for the SFP of the lows in here, so we could easily just come up a little bit here and then sweep down, which would be great. I'm down for that. But most likely looking to grab this liquidity and this liquidity down here, and major sweep would be at 110, okay? So a couple of buy levels along the way. We just want to see price react the way we want to see it react, and then hopefully take advantage of price action, okay? For now, I think Bitcoin dominance needs to continue to climb. We do not see that right now. So we want to see Bitcoin dominance climb up into this area here, and then we want to see the rotation into alts, and that's kind of how I'm playing it right now. We can see that the Russell is trying to break out and get into expansion. Not fully done yet. We have a new high, but we're still trying to push onwards and upwards here. We can see a little cool off in our altcoins today, which is fine. It's not a big cool off, that's for damn sure. So patience will prevail in here. Ethereum, nice bottoming structure on Ethereum, not so much on Bitcoin and Solana. So Ethereum's kind of been the tell today with the SFPs and the bounce. Maybe it's Ethereum's turn to have a little bit of fun, but for me right now, it's a little bit of patience. Don't trade the chop. Wait for your setups. And can we check Sol, please? Yeah, so Sol, if we're looking at Sol in here, what we're looking at here, So Solana overextended to the upside. Nice push, head and shoulders, warning sign, bearish flag. Okay, so that's the concern here. ETH has done an SFP and a bounce, which is much more bullish because it's grabbed liquidity. In my opinion, we can see head and shoulders here on Sol. So even if we come back and retest this golden area box in here, I would still be looking for this thing to potentially roll over here with all this liquidity coming in down below. So it needs to make higher highs and higher lows in this area, higher high, higher low, and a break before we get super bullish here for any swing trades. You can scalp this, but right now this is very unscalpable in my opinion. For me, it looks very bearish, and it would typically come back and grab this liquidity, just like Bitcoin looks like. So I would be patient there. Okay, you want to see the Bitcoin buy levels? I'll share them in the chat with you, my friend, because I'm generous to Chart Prime people. I'll even put rays on them so you know where the boxes are. Look at that. Who would have thought? I don't know, OC. Too much spoon feeding. Have you seen my newest picture?
Let's see.
Hey, you want to see it? Here's my newest picture, bro.
Nice.
I went to the store and I saw this. Right? I was at the store and I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to buy it.
Oh, what's that? Oh, shoot. That's a ginormous spoon. Look at that, man. Oh, fucking love it. That's how you're feeding your wieners, man. Oh, love it. Love it.
Too much fun.
It is. Oh, by the way, have you seen the time, my friend?
Yeah, it's time to go and relax, bro. I gotta go and work again. So,
absolutely, guys, we have another upcoming session. By the way, that's Alex. I love it, man. That's you, bro. But guys, thank you so much for joining.
I want one bigger than that.
That'll be fantastic. That'll be fantastic. Look for it on
I'm
Amazon.
gonna carve one I'm gonna carve one out of a big plank.
That'll be fantastic, man. Oh, you need to show me when you do it. Oh, by the way, get. Of course, if you can, get a larger mat, the OG mat. I want to get one of those. If you can, let me know, and I'm looking for a bigger one.
Yeah, I gotta see if they make bigger ones, because this one actually I want a bigger one too. This it's nice, but it's small.
Right, absolutely. By the way, guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, Alex Hard Crypto has his own channel, his own community. He is nice enough to come in here and let us know how he used Chartprint and also his own strategy. But also he has his store, just making a friendly suggestion. If you want it, a fantastic merch from him, it's love it. Well, go check that out. There's many influencers appearing on his mug. I haven't asked for mine, but I definitely want to. Who is in there? It's Piper. I think I actually make it there on the mug.
Send me one, bro. I will put you into the picture, bro.
Let's go. That'd be fantastic. Love it. All right, guys.
Make sure you remove the background, though.
I will. Absolutely will. All right, guys, without further ado, guys, go check out his merch store. It's fantastic. I love it. And also go check out his channel and also stay around here. As always, see you guys tomorrow.